Okay, Waka. So we're at journal page 27, transforming linear functions. The most basic function is called the parent function. The linear parent function is f of x equals x. Function notation, types of transformation. F of x plus d is a vertical translation up d units. F of x minus d is a vertical translation down d units. F parentheses x plus c is a horizontal translation left c units. F parentheses x minus c is a horizontal translation right c units. Negative f of x is reflect over the x-axis. F parentheses negative x is reflect over the y-axis. A times f of x is a vertical stretch of if absolute value a is greater than 1. It's a vertical compression if absolute value of a is greater than 0 but less than 1. FB of x is a horizontal compression when absolute value of b is greater than 1. It's a horizontal stretch when absolute value of b is greater than 0 but less than 1. All right, let's take a look at the first example. All right, the graph of the function f of x equals x plus 4 is shown. Graph two functions in the same family for which the perimeter being changed is the y-intercept b. So you have g of x equals 1x divided by 1 minus 4. All right, so to graph this, we start at 0, negative 4. That's your y-intercept. And the slope is we go up 1 to the right 1. So now be careful. These are counting by 2. So this is negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So we go up by 1, it's right here. And the same thing here. So up 1 to the right 1, 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 up 1 to the right 1. All right, let's go ahead and graph g of x in pink. All right. Now we have h of x equals, again, that's 1x divided by 1 plus 7. Now the y-intercept is at plus 7, so plus 7 is right here. And again, we're going up 1 to the right 1. So up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. All right, and let's go ahead and graph h of x in blue. All right, go ahead and finish up example 1. And let's take a look at example 2. The graph of the function f of x equals x plus 4 is shown. Graph two more functions in the same family for which the perimeter being changed is the slope m is greater than 1. So we have g of x equals, that's 3x, but that's divided by 1 plus 4. Okay, so we start at 4, so that's here. And the slope is up 3 to the right 1. So up 1. Now we're counting by 1, so we can count 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. And let's go ahead and graph g of x in pink. Okay, now let's graph h of x, which is 4x, but that's divided by 1 plus 4. Okay, so we start at 4, but then this one we go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. And we're going to graph h of x in blue. All right, go ahead and finish up example 2. And let's take a look at the next example. Example 3. The graph of the function f of x equals x plus 4 is shown. Graph two more functions in the same family for which the perimeter parameter being changed is the slope m and is less than 0. So we have g of x equals negative 3x, but that's negative 3x divided by 1 plus 4. So we start at plus 4. Now be careful, we're counting by 2s, not 1. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So in between is counting by 1. So that's down 1, 2, 3. And again, we're counting by 1 here. So down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. 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 And again, let's go ahead and graph g of x in pink. Okay. All right, so h of x, now that's a negative 1x, but that's divided by 1 plus 4. So we start at 4, but now we go down 1 to the right 1, 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 down 1 to the right 1. And let's go ahead and graph h of x in blue. All right, go ahead and finish up example 3. All right, example 4. Derive the transformation on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x. So the result of the graph of g of x. G of x equals negative x plus 7. The graph of the parent function is reflected across the y-axis and translated 7 units up. All right, next example. Describe the transformation on the graph of the function f of x equals x. The result of the graph of g of x equals 5x. The graph of the parent function is stretched vertically and becomes steeper. All right, next example. Describe the transformation on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x. The result of the graph is, so we have g of x equals 1/2 x. The graph of the parent function is shrunk vertically, becomes less steep. All right, let's take a look at next example. All right, describe the transformation on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x. The result of the graph of g of x. G of x equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. The graph of the parent function is reflected across the y-axis and is less steep. The graph is then translated 2 units up. All right, next example. Determine how changes in parameters will affect the graph. Enter the new function. For large parties, a restaurant charges a reservation fee of $40 plus $20 per person. The total charge for a party of X people is f of x equals 20x plus 40. How will the graph of the function change if the reservation fee is raised to $70 and per person charges lowered to 11? If the reservation fee is raised to $70, the graph will be translated up so the value of b is 70. If the per person charge is lowered by 11, then the slope of the line will become less steep and the function g of x will become 11x plus 70. It's a plus sign. All right. So now let's take a look at the next example. Determine how changes in parameter will affect the graph. Enter the new function. The number of chaperones on a field trip must include 1 teacher for every 5 students, plus a total of 3 parents. The function describes the number of chaperones for a trip x students. F of x equals 1/5 x plus 3. How will the graph change if the number of parents is reduced to 0? The graph will be translated 3 units down if the number of parents is reduced to 0. How will the graph change if the number of teachers is raised to 1 for every 3 students? The graph becomes steeper than the graph of the parent function. The new function is 1/3 x. Technically plus 0, but we don't put that, okay? All right, let's take a look at the next example. All right, last example. A book club charges a membership fee of $26 and then $18 for each book purchased. Enter a function to represent the cost y of membership in the club based on the number of books purchased x. Y equals 18x plus 26. Enter another function to represent the cost of membership if the club raises its membership fee to $37. So you have y equals 18x plus 37. Describe the relationship between the two functions. Both functions have the same value of m, but have a different value of b. All right, there's no need to work on the HRSW assignment because we've already done 6.4. So go ahead and start working on ALEKS and have a wonderful Wildcat day.